Hi everyone, my name is Scott Cohen and I'm the School Counseling Director here at Indian River High School, and this is a short video presentation for current parents and guardians of 8th graders planning on coming to Indian River High School for next year. This video is for parents and guardians. It has some information that is not included in the videos that the 8th graders got to watch, and you'll have access to that information. We'll talk about that in just a second. This video is also for parents and guardians of current private school 8th graders who are planning on coming to Indian River High School next year. You can watch either of the scheduling videos for the 8th graders that are located on the Indian River High School Guidance website, and again, I'll show you that in just a second. Please remember, for current private school students and their parents and guardians, the deadlines I'm going to talk about does not pertain to you because you will not have access to do any picking of classes. Because you're going to be enrolling your students beginning July 1st of 2021 for the 21-22 school year. So this is purely informational for parents of private school students, but I just wanted to include you as well because I know we get some questions around this time of the year. So here are just some important things to know and that you need to do. So all parents, if you go to the Indian River High School website, the guidance page, and it's listed right here, you can watch either the Indian River Middle or the Greenbrier Middle 8th grade scheduling video. It's about 20 minutes long, but this is what we showed the 8th graders, and this is super helpful for you to watch as well. The second thing we need you to do is we need you to talk to your 8th grader about the 8 classes that he or she wants to take next year. Just have a discussion about, regular and honors classes, what type of electives, maybe what type of diploma they want to go for, because we definitely want to include you, the parents and guardians, in this conversation. We also need you to be aware of the deadlines listed in the video and the deadlines that are given to you by the middle schools. It's really important that everyone follow the deadlines. And then finally, we need parents and guardians of current students to check Parent View on February 18th. This is where you will see the final 8 classes that your student has been signed up for at Indian River High School next year, and you will have until February 24th to make any changes to those classes. And just a reminder, I would like parents and guardians to review the information that was sent from our junior ROTC program in late December. This was sent to you in the mail at your home address, and you should have gotten it around the end of December, right before the holiday break. A lot of parents and guardians think that it's just ROTC information, but it's not. It describes the ROTC program, but then it has a lot of important Indian River High School scheduling information, timelines, and the list of electives, so it really is helpful. So if you kind of put it aside, if you can find it and review it, that would be awesome. I just want to take a second to review the scheduling process. This information was in the video that we showed the 8th graders, but I want to go over it again. It may be a little redundant, but it's important. For Greenbrier Middle School, the 8th graders are going to be given a Google form link, and they're going to be picking all 8 classes for next year as a 9th grader. The 8th grade teachers and the 8th grade counselor are going to review those choices made by the student and by you, and they're going to make changes if needed. For Indian River Middle School, they're also going to be given a Google form link, but they're only going to be picking their electives and their science class. The core English, math, and history teachers, they're going to be picking the classes for the 8th graders. And again, you will have access to this on February 18th in Parent View, and you'll be able to see all 8 classes that were picked for the student or by the student, and you'll have until February 24th to make any changes. Some things that I just want to make sure I covered that were not quite as specific in the last video for the 8th graders. Number one, the Chesapeake Virtual Academy. This is brand new, and I just want to make sure, parents and guardians, that you really have a conversation with your students about this program. This is really an online schooling program through Chesapeake Public Schools. It's very important that students know this will be very different from what we're doing this year. And if they want to be taking online classes, they have to be very self-motivated, very good with the computer, very willing to ask questions via email, and move kind of at their own pace following guidelines set by the Chesapeake teachers. So we just want to make sure that you take the time to have a conversation with your students about this online option. In the video, Mr. Chamberlain is going to talk about Virtual Virginia. I listed the website down here where you can actually learn a little bit more about Virtual Virginia. Virtual Virginia is a free online program that Chesapeake Public Schools has used for years. Our students have typically taken Virtual Virginia classes when we didn't offer the class. So for example, maybe one year we didn't offer AP Biology. Students could actually take the class through Virtual Virginia. It's totally free. It's asynchronous, but it is a really good program. So there are some other classes through Virtual Virginia that Chesapeake Public Schools doesn't even offer. So it's worth looking at if your son or daughter talks about a class that we're not offering, and that may be an option for them. And then finally, we just need you as parents and guardians to really have those conversations with your 8th graders about how much they're willing to challenge themselves in 9th grade. A lot of times I'll see 8th graders sign up for all honors classes, but they're not doing really well in middle school and in 8th grade in their classes, and they struggle in 9th grade. I see the same thing with the math classes. Students can take algebra and geometry as a straight one semester class, or they can take those classes in parts. And a lot of times I'll see 8th graders take Algebra 1 as a straight math class against their math teacher's recommendation and against my recommendation, and then they end up not being very successful. So we really want 9th graders to be successful, so it's important that they choose the right classes and that they don't challenge themselves too much in 9th grade. And finally, it's a little confusing, I know, but science in 9th grade, students have the choice between earth science and environmental science. It really does not make a difference which one they choose. It's totally about what they're more interested in. So I don't want you to get bogged down on, is it going to make a huge difference if they take one over the other? It really doesn't. Just remember, for honor students, they really should take honors or science. And finally, with science, and I mentioned in the video, students can skip over those classes and jump right into biology in 9th grade. But most of our 10th graders take biology, so it's taking it a little bit out of order. I would not recommend a 9th grader taking biology unless they are just a super strong math and science student and they kind of have a 4-year plan mapped out where they need to take biology in the 9th grade. The other thing we need you to talk with your 8th graders about is their electives. They are going to be choosing anywhere from 2 to 3 electives, and there's some important things that I've seen over the years. Number one, I get a lot of concerns and sometimes complaints in August when the 9th graders get their schedules in the mail and they are saying to me, well, Mr. Cohen, where's my Spanish 2 class, or where's my orchestra class? You guys didn't put that in my 8 classes. When we look back at the scheduling forms, the students never chose those classes. They picked other things. So it's really important that if a student's in a foreign language this year as an 8th grader, let's say they're in Spanish 1, they should probably sign up for Spanish 2 unless they just hate the class or they're doing poorly in it. Same thing with band, orchestra, and chorus. If they're a music student and they want to take music in the 9th grade, they need to pick one of those classes as one of their 8 classes for next year. So that's going to be one of their electives. If they're in orchestra this year and they don't choose orchestra as one of their 8 for 9th grade, I'm just going to assume they don't want to take orchestra anymore, and I'm going to put them in the classes that they picked. Same thing with AVID. If AVID students at Indian River Middle School want to continue with AVID, they need to choose AVID as one of their 8 classes. Students from Greenbrier Middle School or students from Indian River Middle that are not in AVID, Greenbrier Middle doesn't have the AVID program in 8th grade, they need to list AVID as one of their 8 classes and do the application, and that was mentioned in the video. And finally, students who have an IEP or who have special education classes, they may have an academic support class in 8th grade, which typically means in 9th grade, they're going to have an academic support class each semester, 1 per semester. So that's going to be 2 out of their 8 classes. So when those students are choosing their electives, they're welcome to pick electives, but I need those students to be aware they're probably really not going to get electives in 9th grade because their academic support classes are going to take their place. Students do get credit and grades for academic support classes, and they do count towards graduation. Some things that I just want to make sure you know you will eventually hear about. You're just not going to hear about it right now. We're going to, we of course assign school counselors, but we do that in the summertime. We're going to talk to you later on, either in the springtime or in August when we do a freshman orientation about Indian River High School clubs and activities, sports. We don't do any tours of the school right now from now until the end of the school year. Unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower, and with COVID and everything, we're just not allowing people to come in to take tours of the school. We know that some of you may have questions about, colleges and scholarships, and we're going to talk to you about all that information, just not right now. It'll probably be either in the summertime before high school starts, or once the students get into high school in 9th grade, we'll start touching on those topics. And then finally, I get a lot of questions from 8th grade parents about the day-to-day workings of a high school. And unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of time to go through every single scenario of what happens in the high school. We will tell you about that information later on. But sometimes I've gotten questions such as, explain to me, Mr. Cohen, how students are dropped off in front of the building and when they can enter the building. Right now, we're just focused on scheduling and picking classes, but we will answer those questions. We're just not going to be talking about those things right now. But if you do have questions, feel free to email me. Again, my name is Scott Cohen. This is my 27th year here at Indian River High School. I love being here, so I can answer all of your questions. My email address is scott.cohen@cpschools.com. I will not be your student's counselor when they're ninth graders, but I'm your contact person for this school year while they're eighth graders. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you watch one of the eighth grade scheduling videos, either for Greenbrier Middle, for Indian River Middle. Those are about 20 minutes long and they have a lot more information. But thanks for watching and have a great day.